Hey, and welcome to the Northwest Georgia football Friday night scoreboard. Third week of the season. Like always, big surprises all around. We got our fellow Benton Birds in here, and special guest Arthur Mosley joining us tonight. If you guys don't know Arthur, man, he's a huge high school football fan from Cherokee County. But most importantly, he's leading our Pick'em challenge after week two.
We'll have to revisit that, Mr. Morgan, after tonight.
Well, all right, Arthur, tell us about the game you were at tonight.
Well, Mr. Morgan, Benton, we had the pleasure of calling the game between the Calhoun Yellow Jackets and the Creekview Grizzlies. Calhoun coming in my poll ranked at number 10, a top 10, top 5 team around the state, led by quarterback Trey Townsend and running back. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank here. I've been calling this Caden Williams.
Caden Williams, yeah.
Game started off. Calhoun marched down, picked up a field goal. Creekview answered with a touchdown. Game kind of went back and forth. Calhoun scored. Tell you what, Trey Townsend, a very impressive quarterback. When he's given time, he throws a very pretty ball and is able to drop it into his receivers, big receivers for them tonight. No doubt, Jax Bishop had a big game, had a long touchdown run. Creekview, let me get back. Creekview ended the second half with a touchdown reception. They went in halftime leading 21-10 over Calhoun, seemed to have a lot of the momentum going into half behind Isaac Hubert, who had 2 touchdowns. And if you don't know Isaac Hubert, he's an Air Force commit. He goes about 6'3", 230, and they had him playing fullback. And he is a very punishing load, very north and south, and not a whole lot of juking with this guy. Come out of halftime, the rain starts falling, Creekview gets the ball, and they go nowhere but backwards on a couple of penalties, and that was really the story of the night for Creekview. Penalties really did them in. Calhoun was able to get the run game going with Caden Williams. Don't believe he broke 100 yards, but very efficient in the run game. And again, Trey Townsend on a couple of crucial third down plays was able to get his ball to, and I believe sophomore tight end Amari Winston. He goes about 6'3", 230. And if you told me he was 250 tonight, I believe every minute of it. A very, very physical, very big target. And again, hats off to Coach Clay Stevenson getting his team prepared and coming down in a pretty raucous environment down off of Owen Store Road here in the northeastern part of Cherokee County. Calhoun escapes. I'll say they escaped. Creekview had a chance with a fourth down and 9, had a ball slip through a receiver's hands, falls incomplete with about a minute and a half left to play, and Calhoun runs out the clock. Final from Canton, the Calhoun Yellow Jackets win that ball game 26, Creekview 21.
Yeah, it sounds like an exciting game. Yeah, the tight end Winston, I think he has an offer from Ohio State already. Or if not Ohio State, he's got one from somebody.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. He's a good looking prospect, and I wouldn't be surprised seeing him play at a high D1 level. When we talked to Coach Stevenson, they said because he's so young, we're just trying to give him as much as he can handle, but he thinks he can be a special player over there for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, I hear he's a beast on the hardwood too. That's his specialty, I think. So for those not familiar with Cherokee County football this year, who are some of the teams that have a chance to make the playoffs and go far in the playoffs this year?
Well, I tell you what, going far is been few and far between for our county teams here recently. The realignment has placed 5 county teams, 5 of our county teams in one region, along with Allatoona and Rome, a team you guys are very familiar with in Northwest Georgia. So at minimum, Cherokee County is going to get 2 teams in the playoffs. Our 7A school, Cherokee High School, is in a region with North Cobb, Walton, Osborne, Kennesaw Mountain, Wheeler. So they'll have their work cut out for them. They're going to have to win a couple of games to make the playoffs, but we know that 2 teams are going to make the playoffs. Right now, I would tell you that the 2 teams, the leaders in the clubhouse sitting at 3-0, are the Etowah Eagles, who are having a bounce-back season with 2 phenomenal sophomore quarterbacks splitting time, and the River Ridge Knights. Now, River Ridge won a region title 2 years ago. They were held out of the playoffs last year. They lost a lot of talent. They're starting running back from a year ago. Amir Morrison is now playing at Southeast Missouri State. They graduated their quarterback. They graduated a defensive lineman who was at Air Force, so they're rebuilding. They won an exciting game tonight, 48-45 over Sprayberry. So a lot of young talent, I think, in our county that we're excited about. This sophomore, junior class that we have right now, really a big class. So I don't know how deep some of these teams can go. I don't this season because of the youth and inexperience. And also in the region you're in, Alatoona playing Cartersville tough tonight. They were up big for a while in that game. And then, of course, we all know how great Rome is. And that team is always going to play. I think that's just the levels of physicality some of our teams in Cherokee County are used to playing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when the Rome Wolves come to town. But the leaders in the clubhouse right now, certainly River Ridge and Etowah. And I think the Creekview game we saw last night, this is a team that has they've only been playing football since about 2007, but they have over a 70% winning percentage in their football games. So that's a program that's used to winning football games. And my podcast co-host threw out a stat that said the last 2 times Creekview started out 0-3, they made the playoffs. So we'll see if that holds true this year.
Yeah, go ahead and put a plug in for your newsletter, your podcast.
Sure, absolutely. The podcast is called the Cherokee County Football Blitz, and that's really a focus on Cherokee County. We do try to get interviews with our game of the week, with the radio broadcast we do with WLJA 101.1 FM. And we know that a lot of your listening area can pick that station up. The station signal is out at LJ, but we do a Cherokee County game of the week. And I say we, myself and Will Cooper, got a great broadcast team with myself, Will doing the play-by-play. Dave Garner, who's been doing broadcasting forever, joins us when he can. Zach Gross gives us some analysis, and then Ronnie Cooper also does stats for us. Tonight we were short staff in the booth, but again, it's a great time. We have a podcast again, the Cherokee County Football Blitz. It's released every Wednesday evening about 5:00, and normally you can see the WLJA radio on Twitter release it. I'll retweet it. And then I put out as still an independent, the Turd Ferguson Report is the blog that I run. We do a top 10 for every classification every week. We do 8, we call them 8 greats around the state. We try to pick 8 games, maybe not the highest profile, but to us, some of the most intriguing games around the state. Give a little rundown and a summation of those. And then we also write a little write-up on each Cherokee County game. And I have been ambitious the last 2 years in previewing just about every state playoff game. I'm not sure if my life will allow me to do that this year, but again, we try to put out just enough information to keep it interesting. And I'm a huge fan of high school football around the state of Georgia. So hopefully when you see the coverage, it's not a Cherokee County homer. I will tell you, I'm probably going to get a lot of guff from my picking Adairsville to beat Rabun County. I was drinking the Adairsville Tiger Kool-Aid this week, yeah. And so I was a little bit off on that one.
I will tell you, the one thing I was disappointed this offseason about, Arthur, is I found out the Cedarwood Tavern wasn't a real place. Yeah, I was hurt, man. I was hurt when I found that out.
So we switched up. So my old podcast partner, Von Brown, his kids are moved on to another stage of life, and he needed some time to do a few other things. And Football Fridays at the Tavern we had a great run with that podcast at Cedarwood Tavern, and it's a real place, but it doesn't serve food, and it's not what you think. So it's in the bowels of Hickory Flat in Canton, Georgia, but. Yeah, that was a fun run, and Mr. Morgan, you're not the only one who's been disappointed about that.
Yeah, I kept thinking, I kept thinking every time I was coming to Canton, man, I was going to look for the Cedarwood Tavern. I couldn't wait to get in there and get some wings and talk to you guys. Well, all right, man, we got our buddy Charles Israel in here. He's going to jump in and tell us about Heard County Braves tonight.
How y'all doing tonight?
Charles, what's going on, man?
How's it going, Charles?
Hey, Charles.
Oh, doing pretty good. Good to see y'all. Yeah, we supposed to have played Pike Liberal tonight, but they canceled out on us 2 weeks ago. There's some controversy on that. From the information I got, apparently they said they didn't have enough players to be able to play, and canceled on us, and then turned around 2 days later and tweeted their new schedule where they picked up a game in Florida after playing us. So we scrounged, and Coach Lassiter kept calling around and checking things, and Midtown had a cancellation, and we were able to work out Monday to go ahead and play tonight. On short notice, both teams had to scramble to get to know each other. All the dogs going crazy now.
Charles about to get attacked.
Live TV.
And so we Midtown, they got some good talent on that team, but they not so good, but they definitely had some good players. But it was good to be heard. It's getting healthier. I guess that bye week we had last week got his heel back up and played a pretty solid game tonight. We had some letdowns, but overall we played a good game and was able to get the JV some action.
I'll tell you the big news from Hurd County this week has to be Jones. His start out there with Arizona State, man. I think he had like 300 total yards with a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, we had a good showing last night with Emory Jones out there at Arizona State with his game, and Elijah Huzzy, who was our quarterback in 2018, who took over after Emory graduated and led us to our state championship up at East Tennessee State last night, had a pick six.
Cool.
And then Aaron Beasley, who's up at Tennessee, like the first play of the game, he got a hit and hit on the quarterback that caused the interception for Tennessee. So it was good college night for Hurd County last night.
Yeah.
But I noticed Lamar. Did I see right that Lamar picked off double night? I think it was like 21.
No, it's a possibility, man. I think Lamar County was ranked in the top 10 coming in. I think they're going to be a tough game for those guys in 5-2A.
Yeah,
I think the battle for the home playoff spot is going to be you guys and Temple. That's going to be the showdown.
Yeah, we got a couple tough games coming up these next 2 weeks. We got Callaway. Now Callaway started out. Now they're 0-3, but those 3 losses were just really good teams. I mean, they hung good tonight with Troup County. And
Charles, I got a special note. A special note for you here. This is a message for you. Charles, let's be honest, man. Beasley is a Red Devil that slept in Hurd County for 2 years.
Well, Beasley wearing a ring that he didn't get in Bowden.
But on that note, I did see where the Red Devils got the Blue Devils tonight.
Oh yeah,
a big win.
Yeah, they definitely did good with that tonight. But we got Callaway next week, and then we got Raven County the week after that. So we got a lot of work cut out for us over these next 2 weeks.
Well, all right, Charles. We appreciate you joining us, man, and come back and talk to us next Friday night.
I will, and hopefully I'll be able to stay on a little bit longer, but I got to get to bed tonight. So y'all hold it down. Good to see you there, Arthur Mosley. I've seen your name around for a few years. So,
well, Mr. Israel, it's a pleasure to see you as well, and I appreciate the updates from Hurd County out there on the west side of the state. It helps keep me informed for sure.
Y'all have a good night, gentlemen.
See you, Charles.
See you. I was gonna we'll bring Chris on, but I was gonna pop in some of these comments here.
Yeah, we got the comments rolling.
Keller
here.
said he was at the Rome Carrollton game, and Juju had a big game. Said Carrollton's defense took over as well. Rome had no answer.
Carrollton's running back had 200 yards, man. Bryson Hicks is, I think, the kid's name.
Yep, 200 yards of total offense, I believe. Also, UGA Chris M says, how about that Cam Vaughn? He's a special character, man. calm, cool, and collective, and eats up yards. The first time, I think he's the punter as well. When he punted the first time, he just kind of held it and just held it, and then we finally got there, and then he just kicked it. I mean, it was like he just could do whatever he wanted. He had all the time in the world. It was crazy. Even if people were running after him, he just move out of the way. But anyway.
All right, Chris, what's going on, man?
Hey, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. How about those North Murray Mountaineers?
I tell you what, I got to see Skylar Williams' first varsity touchdown this evening, and I had a feeling it was going to happen, and it was pretty special. That kid's going to be special. Murray?
Did he start at quarterback or?
No, he was playing running back, receiver. Kid can do it all. The thing of the game, North Murray, it was kind of close there at half. It's 21-13. And North Murray's kicker, Jeffet Cuenca, he recovered back-to-back onside kicks. He recovered his own kick. It enabled North Murray to score 21 unanswered in a matter of 2 minutes to start that second half. And that's what put the game away. They coasted after that. And then I started looking around the area at all the other scores, and man, my picks were really bad this week.
Yeah, I think we all three had about the same pick, so I think we're all going to be down there in the cellar together.
Yeah, well, at least we'll all be together.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, Mr. Mosley. I love reading your reviews and all your previews. You do great work.
Well, over there. I appreciate it, Chris. And I was telling Lawrence and Benton before you came on that they said I was leading the pick'em this week, but you guys are talking about being in the cellar. I was drinking a lot of people's Kool-Aid 2 weeks in, and it came back to bite me this week.
Yeah, I think we had the same Kool-Aid.
I feel you. I think mine had a little Adairsville, a little Dalton, a little kind of stuff in it,
And how about the Phoenix? Wow,
yeah.
That was surprising. That was a big win for Sonorville there as they get ready for that 7-4-8, which is going to be lights out. So that's going to be something to follow right there.
So you guys have the Bruins next, right? At home or away, Chris?
North Murray will be at home hosting Northwest Whitfield next week.
Yeah, I think the final tonight from Northwest Whitfield was 30-17. Maybe a little closer than some had expected, but that should be a heck of a game next week up there. Yes,
it should be. It should be an offensive game again. If you like offense, just follow North Murray. They seem to be in a lot of high-scoring affairs. They got a little banged up on defense. They did a lot better this week. I think Coach Pogue was real happy with especially their second half performance. So I think they're getting some guys back, and I think they'll be ready for next week.
I got to thinking tonight on the way home, Chris. I said, man, what if Adairsville and North Murray were still in 6 AAA together?
They'd would
probably
be
score 100 points apiece.
Game. Yeah. 100 points apiece. All right, guys. I can't stay long, guys. I got about 12 minutes to get an article in. I will post that here soon. You'll see that going around.
Good luck with that, sir.
Benton, Lawrence, and Arthur, it was great seeing y'all. I will hopefully be on a lot longer next week. I have a home game next week, so that'll be good.
All right, man.
Chris, we appreciate you, man.
All right, appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you later.
See you, Chris. Yeah, we'll go ahead and run down some of these scores, man, for the people that are driving home. Mount Zion beat Jordan 58-0. Cartersville 28-20 over Allatoona. Bowden 35-0 over Bremen. Cass beat up on Drew 58-15. Cedartown 35-0 over Sequoia. Temple 44-19 over Chattooga. Fannin 38-12 over Pickens. Gilmer 36-0 over Murray County. The game I was at, Coosa 33, Gordon Central 21. Charles told us Hurd 41-0 over Midtown. Heritage 48-14 over LFO. East Paulding 35-28 over Hiram. Northwest Whitfield 30-17 over Ringgold. Harrison 28, Paulding County 14. Raven County 72, Adairsville 36. North Murray 56-19 over Ridgeland. Sonoraville with the big surprise, 27-21 over Dalton. Gordon Lee 46, Southeast Whitfield 22. Model beats Woodland 17-14 in overtime. Villa Rica comes back and beats Northgate 29-17. Calhoun 26, Creekview 21, and then probably the biggest surprise for me for the night, Hampton 34, Central 33. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming either, but I would say the biggest surprise for me tonight, and it's a good surprise for our buddy Tim Towle, was Fannin County putting a lot of points on the board tonight.
Yeah, leading Pickens 35-0 at halftime, and final 38-12.
Big win for Fannin after they struggled the first couple of weeks, put points on the board. And, we were kind of checking that score at halftime, and we had to call somebody and get a verification because we said, is this right? And that's a Fannin County team that has the last couple of years has been very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, and I believe our buddy Tim, when we were in a text chain, and he said, "This is not a typo." He let it off with that, and then he put the score in there. Yeah. I thought that was great.
Yeah, just glancing at some of these scores here. Like somebody said, Cass tonight put up a big 58-13 win. Sokovie White with a punt return for a touchdown. Gilmer County off to a 3-0 start under Paul Standard.
Big time.
Big time.
They're looking for real.
Yeah, we kind of wondered last week if Fannin was down, when they lost to Gilmer. You're like, well, maybe Fannin's down a little bit, but it looks like Gilmer's the real deal.
Yeah.
They said they turned the ball over a lot tonight and still won 38-0.
I mean, you get a coach like Coach Standard coming in there and who has a no pun intended standard. And I think we're seeing a little bit of the same thing out of a team like Lumpkin County under Coach Webb up there.
Absolutely.
He's got the Indians at 3-0, I believe, so far this season. And it's no offense to Lumpkin County, but just from where we sit, that's a team we're just not used to seeing win a whole lot of ball games, not in the past 10 years. So hats off to Coach Webb and Coach Standard.
Right. They have a big game coming up next week with Temple. I think Temple is traveling to Lumpkin,
Yeah, Temple at Lumpkin. Yeah, that will be two different types of quarterbacks that run. Man, that Lumpkin quarterback is physical, and he's downhill. He's a bruiser. And we all know what Cam Vaughn can be. You'll see some videos here in a little bit of him saying bye-bye to the defense.
Yeah, next Friday night, Gilmer will be at Ringgold. That should be a good game. That'd be a good test for the Bobcats as they try to go 4-0.
I agree. So I think we talked about this earlier. Nobody is starting any region games next week. We still got one more week before anybody fires up region. So, and more weeks for some regions, depending on how many teams are in your region. Do you know where you will be next week, Arthur?
Next week, we will be at the second oldest rivalry in Cherokee County as the Cherokee Warriors, the oldest school in the county, will host the Sequoia Chiefs. Cherokee's, both teams with new quarterbacks. Cherokee's quarterback last year, A.J. Swan, now at Vanderbilt. They're starting a sophomore, Tanner Savasier. And they've after that game against Cartersville and first week of the season, Cartersville looked tough. They looked like they were midseason form. Paul Gamble looked really good. But they'll be playing their rival, Sequoia. It's a game that went down to the wire on a controversial call at the end of the game last year. Sequoia's quarterback has transferred out. He's at Walton now playing safety and punting for them. So it ought to be an exciting game. We've been fortunate to have two exciting games back to back. Last week, game went into overtime. This week, a game down to the last possession for Creekview with the Calhoun win. And so we're looking forward to being back at Tommy Baker Field to be on the call there. And again, it's a two teams. Cherokee, typically a team that's been a playoff contender the last 4 or 5 years in Class 7A in their regions. they'll be facing a Sequoia team that's looking for some answers and might be looking to replace an injured quarterback. We don't have all of the scoop on that right now, but we know that in their last game, their quarterback went down with an injury, their starter. So we'll see if Sequoia can get some things figured out, and Cherokee. And again, similar to the other teams in Northwest Georgia, we will not start region play here until after next week.
Yeah, I actually saw where Sequoia gave the Cedartown Bulldogs a pretty good game tonight for a half. I think it was 14-0 at halftime.
And Sequoia is one of the things in our preview, we thought this game could be over at about 8:45, just because both teams love to run the ball. Coach Teeter, typically primarily with the wing tee offense, although we've seen them come out and run some out of the I formation here the last season and a half. But that's I think when you've got two backs like Gardner and Diamond and an experienced team. I know they lost another 1,000-yard rusher from last year's state runner-up team, or semifinal team, excuse me. But I just think that Cedartown has a little bit more experience than Sequoia, and they've got those again another team starting a lot of sophomores and juniors.
How many trips are you going to make to Rome this year with that schedule?
Well, I tell you what, unfortunately, most of our games have to be in county. The only time I'll be over in the Rome area is for a JV football game. My son is on the Creekview JV team, and so we'll be making the trip over there. Unfortunately, we won't get to come over to Barron Stadium because, trust me, we'd love to. But I think at this point, we're picking we're watching most home games, and I believe Rome is on our broadcast schedule. I have to go back and double check when they come over to Cherokee County. One interesting note, and I don't think the Rome Wolves need any bulletin board material, but their last two trips over to Cherokee County have ended up in losses. Now they did beat the Cherokee Warriors last season as the Warriors traveled over to Barron Stadium. I believe that was a 20-7 or 22-7 ball game, something like that. But we'll see. I think this Rome team is a little bit better than the last two teams that come over here to Cherokee County.
Yeah, Jake Keller, he was at the Carrollton game tonight. He says Rome has to have the biggest defensive line in Northwest Georgia, grown men, but they only had one sack tonight. The Carrollton quarterback was able to get the ball out quick. Juju is going to be special, man. It's hard to believe he's just a freshman, man. By the time he's a senior.
Man, I watched just about the whole game when they played over in Alabama against Gadsden City, and he connected with the tight end like for 4 touchdowns in the first half, and he was just on point. And when they got him off his base and he had to scramble out, he squared up and still made the throw. Or he could get the first down. Honestly, I'm a big Georgia guy. Go Dogs. But he reminds me of Alabama's quarterback a little bit, similar size.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard to believe he's a freshman and he plays like that, man. It's unbelievable,
We talked about it before the season started. We thought, it's a pretty daunting schedule. Can the freshmen hold up? And so far, so good.
Yeah. I didn't see a final on the other game, Buford and North Cobb. They were tied 14-14 when I came in here to record, but.
Last I checked, it was Buford, I believe, won that game 21-14. I don't have any details on that, but that was the last score update I had for Buford and North Cobb, and maybe another one of the better games in the state this evening.
Yeah, I would love to see them and Carrollton in that final. That'd be awesome. Buford and Carrollton.
Oh man, I don't know how the brackets come out, but. I don't know if that's even a possibility.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at the brackets. One interesting note, if Buford does win a state title, I don't know if you guys have said this, but if Buford wins a state title, they'll be the only school to win one in every single classification in the state of Georgia, which is uber impressive and almost sickening at the same time.
Yeah. Because they keep trying to come up with rules to keep them from winning one. They just keep winning and winning and winning. Let's move them up 3 divisions. Let's move them up.
They're just a very and one of their top players, a defensive end. I think King Joseph Edwards. I I think he's out with a season-ending surgery, and I believe he's a junior. But even without one of their top players, I think this is still one of the best teams, but not only in Georgia but across the nation.
Yeah, I saw where their offensive line was averaging like 6'5", 300 pounds, and they were like sophomores and juniors. It's like
It's unreal.
you can't do anything with that.
That's unreal.
I'm pulling up the bracket here.
Got our buddy Paul in here, man. He did his first play-by-play tonight for Chattooga.
How's it going, fellas?
Mr. Kevin, how are you?
Good, pretty good. How you doing, Mr. Mosley?
I can't complain. I'm getting a break in here of live post game. This is a treat for me. So thanks so much for letting me crash the party tonight.
Don't thank me. I'm crashing the party tonight too. I've not been on here much this year, so I'm crashing in myself. But I know Lawrence and Benton are glad to have you on.
Oh, absolutely,
absolutely.
Glad to be here.
Well, fellas,
yep,
made it.
Yeah.
Was it harder or easier than you thought?
It's harder than I thought, especially at first. There's a lot of equipment to get set up and a lot of bugs to be worked out, and you're dealing with how the streaming's going with the internet, and you're dealing with the audio issues and video issues, and that kind of put me in a real anxious / deer in the headlights kind of a mood when we first came on air. So I was a little quieter than I should have been at first, and I was stumbling a little bit just because there's so many things I'm trying to get used to. But once we got to rolling, once the game went along, I got a lot more comfortable and things started rolling pretty smooth.
Sweet.
What were your thoughts on the game tonight?
I'm sure I probably thought the same thing Benton thought. Chattooga, I didn't think played an awful ball game. I would imagine that 90%, 80% of Temple's offense was probably on about 5 or 6 big plays. And that was the story of the game, was big plays for Temple and not many big plays for Chattooga. Chattooga had they had 3 or 4 pretty nice drives. Only able to get it in the end zone there off a couple of those. But, they had several, 10, 8, 9, 10, play sustained drives, racked up a little yards, moved down the field. But they just didn't have the explosiveness that Temple had. And, of course, Cam Vaughn, he's an incredible athlete. The Chattooga defense on a couple plays did almost everything they were supposed to do as far as scheme. The guy would set the edge, he'd cut back inside, make a guy miss. And with an athlete like Vaughn there, you can do things the right way and he can still beat you. And so that was kind of the story of the game for me, was just big plays for Temple.
Yeah, you guys had the Coahulla Creek Colts coming in next Friday night, huh? That should be another exciting game.
Yep. Another potent offense coming in, so defense will be tested again next week. Yep. What about you guys? What do you guys think about some of the other games? I have honestly, I've been so wide open, I haven't had a chance to see a lot of the scores.
Yeah, I think the big surprise of the night we were talking about earlier, for us was Fannin County putting 35 on Pickens County in the first half. Fannin jumped out to a 35-0 lead, held on 38-12. I know a lot of us, including myself, thought Fannin might be down this year, after going 0-2 and didn't really know what to expect. I picked Pickens, of course, and they came out and just put the hammer down.
I think I'm going to quit picking games altogether.
Yeah.
I've had a horrible year, and I don't even get on with you guys usually on Wednesday night to do the Pick'em show. I'm just doing it on the online thing with you there, Lawrence. And I'm telling you what, I am awful.
I'm sure you guys saw my message earlier tonight. I can't repeat it on air, but I said I don't know high school football at all, man. I'm just going to give up.
Well, I've tried it both ways too. I've tried picking with my head. I've tried picking with my heart, and it doesn't matter what I do. It just doesn't seem to work out.
Yeah, I follow this stuff probably closer than anybody else besides you and Benton and them, man. But, I'm crunching numbers and looking at all the lineups and miss every one of them.
I did see Rayburn County Adairsville score. That was pretty surprising to me.
Yeah, 72-36.
I wasn't so surprised that Rayburn won, but what was the Rome Carrollton final?
Carrollton 23, Rome 6.
I saw some people talking about it on Twitter, but I never saw a score. It sounded like that Carrollton looked pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was more the Carrollton defense than the offense. I mean, the offense looked good, and they got it done, but the defense for Carrollton, man, is something else.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Did
think
Coosa pull out a win?
Coosa won 33-21, man. They came out, scored 19 points right off the bat, got out to a 19-0 lead, didn't look back. Yeah.
How about Gordon Lee?
Gordon Lee won big. 46-22 over Southeast Whitfield.
Okay, gotcha. I hate to keep interrupting you here. It's just I was interested in every one of those games, and I hadn't got to see any scores. So
I think one of the other surprising scores of the night was Sonoraville beating Dalton. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is what we were talking about here a while ago, or a few minutes ago. Region 2, if they both won, Carrollton and Buford, Region 2 and Region 8 are in the same quadrant. They would meet in the Elite Eight.
Mm.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that would put Buford and Carrollton, if they both are the 1 seed and they both win the first 2 rounds, then they'd meet in the Elite Eight. That would be a game to go watch for sure.
Yeah.
All righty. Uh-oh. Lawrence stepped aside for a second. I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, yeah, I hadn't really gave my thoughts on the game you was at tonight yet, but Paul, but I totally agree with you. I think the turnover or the fumbles early, and then they had a couple of penalties that Baxter took up early in the game, and they just couldn't. I feel like that if you sustain a little more offense and try to keep your defense off the field, because later on in the game when that defense had to keep going back out there, I feel like I was watching the same game as I watched when we played Lafayette 2 weeks ago. It just kind of continued to slip away. And then the offense, had issues moving it around. And then they got a little spark there, it seemed like. Hit on a couple pass plays, a couple run plays hit, and then a big return, by Smith. And then, a couple of real athletic catches. Even by the fullback, big fullback out there at, 6 foot, 250 pounds, is diving and catching the ball on the sideline. I'm like, there's no way he caught that, but he did.
He did.
It shows you a lot of a possibility, especially when you have receivers that are 10th graders. You got a bunch of line that's 10th grade. We've talked about it. 30-something players on the team are a freshman and sophomore, and what do they dress? 50?
55, I think.
Yeah. So that's just a huge number. So that just bodes well for the future for the Indians, but not as much for the current. But anyway,
growing pains, and that's what that is with those young players.
Oh yeah, and I think that you can see players getting better. You can see them.
Yeah, I thought from what I saw, I wasn't at the Lafayette game in person, but I was able to watch some of it, and I thought there were some improvements from that game. I really did. And like you said, when you got kids that young and kids that inexperienced, there is going to be growth and learning that has to be done every week.
And I'll be honest with you, man. Just kids are coming out, especially with it being 80-something degrees and muggy. They're just dog tired. They got, it's just like it's a small school. It's single A now, but it used to be double A. But single A school, you got there's no quality backup. You're playing. You're in the game. Your backup is your 9th grade JV guy, or the guy that's 13 that doesn't even have any peach fuzz on his face. That's your backup. So you're in there.
Yep.
But yeah, it harms you sometimes. But I think they're they're going to get better and better, and I think they're going to have their day. They're going to have their day where they put some points up and get them a W, I think.
Yeah, they will. They sure will. Fellas, I hate to rush, but I'm tired. I'm mentally exhausted. Don't get me wrong, it was fun, but there was a lot to it. And tonight being my first night, man, I'm telling you, I had stuff going on in every direction, and I'm going to go get me some rest, get ready for some college football tomorrow. And Mr. Mosley, good to talk with you. Big fan of yours.
Thank you so much, and likewise. I like I told Benton and Lawrence, it's an honor to be on with you guys, and I don't get to watch everything you do, but I get to watch clips, and so you guys are a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate all that you do. Just sharing the game with fans, and I'm a fan first, so I appreciate all you do.
All right,
fellas, have a good night. Have a good holiday weekend.
Go Dogs.
Sir. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
And bye-bye. No, I mean, it's okay. You can Roll Tide. But, it ain't been 41 years anymore, folks. It's been zero. Oh, yeah, I see that.
Will Carrollton lose to Westlake to avoid Buford?
I'm going to say no.
I mean, I think it's been done before, though. I mean, not by Carrollton per se, but I think some people have worked that strategy out before. It
certainly is an interesting play and matchup make. I guess the deal is if you're Carrollton, you're going to have to play Buford at some point if you think you're good enough to get to the finals, and whether you beat them in the quarterfinals or in the finals. And I'm not so sure that Carrollton can beat Westlake straight up yet. I realize that's a team. Westlake, you got a new head coach, but you got a great player in Avion Terrell and I believe RJ Johnson and at quarterback. So that should be a fantastic matchup between those two teams, two of the top teams in 7A, battling it out for that region title.
Besides them, does Carrollton have anybody else on the schedule that's going to push them to the limit?
No. They travel to Villa Rica next Friday night. I don't know who they play after that.
Jenkins, Hillgrove, East Coweta, Pebblebrook, Westlake, and then Campbell at the end of the season.
Campbell's a team that's been struggling the last few years. I thought East Coweta might be a team that might be able to give them a chance, but I think they may be down. And Pebblebrook, historically, the last few seasons hasn't been as competitive. But, again, I think you have Westlake and Carrollton, and then there's everybody else in that region.
Yeah.
Let me flip over here. I think Pebblebrook might be at Rome next Friday night, so we'll get to compare apples and oranges,
And that is correct. Pebblebrook is on the road at Rome next week.
Yeah, so we'll get to, like I said, compare apples and oranges and see what we think, Just glancing over some of these games for next week, man. Just go ahead and start talking about week number 4. North Paulden at South Paulden's a good game.
Oh.
South Paulden was off tonight. North Paulden lost to Kennesaw Mountain 37-36.
Kennesaw Mountain, a team that's living on the edge a little bit in a couple of these games early on.
Yeah, I think Cass had a chance to knock them off there at the end, and they hung on. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we got Carrollton at Villa Rica next Friday night, Pebblebrook at Rome. We talked about Columbia at Cartersville. I think Columbia is a ranked team, right, Arthur?
Columbia is a ranked team. They're out of Decatur. Had a big win on the road down at Camden County in week 1, kind of shocked the world, and came back and got another win. They played last night and picked up another win. I want to say they're 3-0 if they weren't off last week. They're undefeated right now. Team that's flying under the radar, but they've got their work cut out for them in week 4 for sure.
What about this matchup I'm looking at here? Cedartown at Calhoun.
Cedartown at Calhoun.
Well, go ahead, Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, I know Calhoun beat them pretty bad last year. I think Cedartown's going to come in there with a chip on their shoulder, and I mean, it's going to be tough to beat them Bulldogs this year, though, I think.
I would agree. It's a game where two different styles of offense, and a quarterback again in Trey Townsend, who I was extremely impressed with. That was a great deep ball in a team like Cedartown. We know what they're going to do. I think going into this week they attempted 11 passes, so that's no surprise. I'm not going to give away too much because I think I have that game picked as one of my 8 greats around the state. I tell you what, I'm a big fan of the Cedartown Bulldogs. I don't have any association with them, but I'm a big fan of those guys over there in Polk County.
Yeah, so if you guys want to know what Mr. Mosley thinks, man, subscribe to his newsletter this week. 8 greats around the state. How about this for a question? I always wondered this too. I've never had any concrete evidence, but Cedartown and Calhoun playing next week. Did they come into the games tonight, maybe hold something back just in case, since they were big favorites? Calhoun was a big favorite at Creekview, Cedartown big favorite versus Sequoia, and they both kind of got off to a slow start.
I would say, yeah. You're talking about a both 5A and a 4A school in Calhoun, and then in Cedartown playing 6A school. So there's a little bit of maybe just in terms of the number of players on the roster. It didn't look like if Calhoun was holding something back, I would have been shocked. And I think once they got down, they were trying to win that ball game. The one thing we didn't see that I thought we might see a little bit more of is more explosive runs from Caden Williams. Now he did have an explosive pass reception, a swing pass out of the backfield, and that not only is he shifty, but he can really turn on the jets. But I don't really know if these guys were holding anything back. And one thing when we talked to Coach Williams from Creekview and even Coach Stevenson, their comment was, kind of everybody's got film on you, and there's not a whole lot of surprises at this point. So I think that game, I don't recall what the score was last year, but I've got a feeling it's going to be a lot closer this year.
Yeah, I think they beat them 31-7 last year. I think it was huge.
Yes, that rings a bell now. Yes.
So, Lawrence, here's a question that's come across. What's your updated projections?
Man, I'll tell you what, outside of Cedartown, I think is a lock at 1. I'd be surprised if Cedartown doesn't get the 1 spot. But 2 through 5, wide open. I was thinking the Lions, the Central Lions might be your number 2 coming into this week. They lose to Hampton, a very good Hampton team. I thought Sonoraville, well, maybe they're the 5, They're taking a step back, but then they beat Dalton. And it's wide open. I mean, Heritage tonight had a big win. They're 3-0. Northwest Whitfield goes to 3-0. Wide open. Do you guys want to try to put them in order?
Yeah, I'm right now. Man, that Northwest Central game is going to be. I think that's going to decide your number 2 spot. I think Northwest and Central are a touch better than Heritage. And then Heritage and Sonoraville, that's going to decide your 4 spot in my book.
I'd have to go back to my preseason region predictions, and whatever it says, I'm going to stick with it. But I'll tell you, Sonoraville has a really good quarterback. I think Junior Jackson Pate, 2-sport athlete out there, that had a pretty good year last year. And then I always feel like Northwest is on the cusp of doing something great, and last year they don't. I haven't seen them really break through. And then the Central Lions, again, you mentioned a team that has not been high on my radar. But I think I take those 4 teams, and I'm gonna leave out Heritage. I'll probably get some hate mail for that, but I take those 4 teams, and obviously Cedartown at number 1.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I have been brainwashed this last 2 weeks looking at that Heritage hype video. I got Heritage at number 2, man. I love that video. I get hyped every time I watch those guys. But yeah, if I had to put them in order, I'd put Northwest, Central, and probably Heritage in it at this point. Chris McKelvey says that Cedartown defense is pretty good. I think they've given up 19 points in 3 games, 12 to Rockmart, 7 to Callaway, which is pretty good teams,
Yep.
We hadn't really talked about it much, but Coosa Eagles jumped out and got them a big win tonight.
Yeah,
You,
like I
you
said,
see any stats or anything on that? Or
I haven't seen any stats. I was there at the game, man, and
Yeah.
Harley Davis, I think his name was Harley Davis, number 26. He returned a punt for 90 yards um, early in the first quarter, and Coosa never looked back after that. DJ Hames, number 11, great back. He probably had 20, 25 carries tonight, carrying the load for the Eagles.
I think I seen him last year a little bit. He
Yeah,
was
they had
real
they,
quick.
yeah, they had a goal line stance at the 1 yard line. Held Gordon Central four plays inside the 5. I think Coosa's going to be in the mix, man, for that fourth playoff spot in 7A, along with Armurchie and Chattooga and Dade and Pepperell and everybody else.
Yeah,
Wide open, wide open.
it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of football left to play, even though we're already talking about who's playing in week 4. That's crazy. Before we know it, we'll be talking about who's going to sneak into playoffs week 8, week 9, week 10.
Yeah, just kind of glancing down through here, see some good games in week 4. Cass at Adairsville, that'll be a good one.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Northwest Whitfield at North Murray. Chris was talking about that one. That's going to be a great game. Sonorville at Lafayette. They were rivals last year in 6 AAA.
You just don't know what you're going to get.
Mary Person at Haralson County. I still think we don't really know what Haralson County has yet.
No.
And I'm not sure how good Mary Person is this year, but I mean they're a solid program.
Solid program. I think they took a loss tonight to Trinity Christian, Class A private state champ. So yeah, that's kind of but Trinity Christian is they came into the game 0-2, but that's not a down team per se.
And we talked about Temple and Lumpkin. That's a game I'm interested in, from both sides.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And Charles said earlier, Herd going to Callaway. Callaway 0-3. I don't think they're really an 0-3 team.
No.
And probably one of the most interesting games on the schedule. I don't really know anything about Tatnall Square. I know they played Darlington maybe last year or the year before last in the playoffs. But they jumped out of GHSA. They're in the what? Is it GIAA?
Yeah, GISA or yeah.
And they're the number 2 ranked team in, the whatever it is, GICA. And they're actually an 8-point early favorite over Bowden.
Wow. Well, they ought to be really good because the Red Devils are having a great year. I know that that region with Bowden and Christian Heritage, and now I'm forgetting that third team.
Mount Zion.
There we go. Yeah, that 3-horse race, and I think for me it was kind of it was a crapshoot picking which team is going to win that region early on.
Yeah, I had Bowden as an early favorite all year. I figured they were probably a lock for number 1, but Mount Zion has played lights out the first 3 weeks of the season. They went down to Columbus on a Thursday night, played Jordan in Columbus, had a 40-0 lead after the first quarter.
Wow.
Ended up winning 58-0. I'm not sure how good Jordan has been the last few years, but I know they're probably a bigger school than Mount Zion. I mean, Mount Zion's probably only got 250 students.
Right.
Yeah, they're putting points on the board. 58, 34, 43. Putting some points on the board.
And a nice little atmosphere over in Mount Zion. I had a chance taking a playoff game a couple years ago, and community really comes out to support those young men. So again, great football tradition over there in West Georgia and Carroll County.
Yeah, I went and saw Dade County play them last year, Mount Zion, and we had a poll here. We were on here one night. We're talking about the best stadium we've been to, the best parking for any school, and Mount Zion was my winner.
Absolutely.
I love the parking at Mount Zion.
It's easy in, easy out.
You pull up right to the door.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been.
Small little campus, got the big eagle statue out front.
Yep.
Yeah, man, you just hop out of your car and show them your ticket, and you're in your seat.
I always like watching a game at Bremen. Bremen's right there on the field, but kind of like Trine right there on the field, no track,
Yeah, that was I had a chance to go out and watch Trine a couple years ago, and again, I'm a fan. I'm a nostalgia guy, and these stadiums that don't have tracks on the field where you have good, I feel like you're really close to the action. But again, a lot of these are going by the way the dinosaur with these as they build these new schools, and
Yeah.
land comes at a premium.
Well, all right. I guess before we wrap it up, man, what was your biggest takeaway of the night? What was the biggest surprise for each of us? We'll go around the horn. We'll start with Benton.
I mean, I said earlier, I think my biggest surprise was 35-0, fanning at a halftime over Pickens. I think that was a big surprise.
Arthur?
Well, I'm going to go with maybe not such a big surprise that Adairsville gave up 72 points to Rabun County, and I probably should have known better with Rabun only scoring 14 last week against Stevens County. They were going to be mad as a hornet's nest getting disturbed, but Adairsville, a team I started drinking the Kool-Aid on, probably a little bit of a letdown, but I think the Tigers are still the top team in their region.
Yeah. They have Cass next Friday night. That'll be a tough game for them. But after that, I think they probably go on a 7-game stretch and get the 1 seed in 6 AAA. I got to say, man, I was a little surprised by Carrollton beating Rome like that.
Mm.
You know, I wasn't surprised that Carrollton won, but I was surprised that Carrollton held the offense to 6 points. I kind of expected a shootout down there, you know, with Juju and Reese Fountain. And I guess Carrollton defense is a lot better than I thought they were.
That would be my close second. You know, because I think I picked Rome, but I just thought the defense would prevail a little bit. You know.
Yeah, I picked Rome. I picked Rome in the 8 in our pick 'em.
Misery loves company because I had Rome winning that game too on the road. I thought that was just be a little payback, and again, Carrollton and Coach King doing a great job over there. And I have not been to Grisham Stadium, but I heard it can be a tough place to play.
Yeah, that is one of my bucket list stadiums for sure this year. You know, that's the best thing about doing this. Not really having a set team is I get to go around and visit. I'm like you. I'm a fan. I do this because I'm a fan, and I want to go everywhere. You know, I wish I could go to all 48 stadiums every year.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be my dream. But
mm-hmm.
Well, you want to go through the scores one more time, and then
yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Little Hootie and the Blowfish.
Max Preps. Are you going to sing the scores? I'll put the Hootie back on.
I'm gonna try my best, man, without looking at that thing, to go down region by region. We'll start with the little ones, go to the top. Our Class A Division II teams: Bowden 35-0 tonight over Bremen. Mount Zion, we said, beat Jordan 58-0, and Christian Heritage dropped one to Darlington tonight by 20 points. But they actually played Darlington close up until maybe late in the third quarter. I saw a 14-7 score in the third quarter. And like Arthur was saying earlier, I think that's going to be a great little round robin, 3-team round robin in October for that number 1 and 2 seed. Our 5 AA teams: Heard County, big win tonight over Midtown, 41-0. Temple beat Chattooga 44-19. I think Heard and Temple are probably on track to play each other for a home playoff spot later in the year, with Lamar County getting the 1 seed. 7A, most of the teams are off tonight. And, you know, Tryon was off. Darlington had the big win over Christian Heritage. Coosa got their first win of the season, 33-21 over Gordon Central. Eagles on the board with the win. Chattooga, like I said, we dropped the game to Temple. Everybody else in the region was off tonight. 6 AAA, or 7 AA. 7 AA, big win. Fannin County is back, man. Just when you thought they were down, 38-12 over Pickens, 35-0 at halftime. Rockmart was off tonight. Model, I don't think we mentioned Model yet on the show.
No, we didn't. I didn't even hear a score for Model.
Model with a huge overtime win at Woodland, 17-14. Field goal to win the game in overtime. We've talked about the Model defense all year, man. Model defense has been lights out for the first 3 weeks. And, you know, to beat a 5A school, only give up 14 points. pretty impressive, man. I think they're going to be right there in the mix. 7AA. North Murray, big win, 56-19. They keep scoring points. 3 weeks in a row, 50 points. Gordon Central lost to Coosa. 6 AAA, we talked about Adairsville losing to Ravens 72-36, 108 points. So Adairsville's had back-to-back weeks of 100-point games.
Mm.
And I think the Cass game might make it 3 weeks in a row.
I'm on board with that.
I agree with that.
Ringgold lost to Northwest in a close game. Lafayette was off. I can't remember who else is in 6 AAA. Coahulla was off. Murray County.
Ridgeland was in. Ridgeland lost to
North Murray.
Yeah.
Played them close, though. Like I said, Chris was on earlier. It was, 21-13 at halftime, which I was surprised by. I didn't know if North Murray was sitting starters or what, but I guess the Panthers just played them well.
They don't nobody sit starters.
Man, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, man.
I know.
I was hoping, huh?
Well, I mean, it's we look at these scores and I'm thinking, I'm like you. You have to double check. You have to call somebody and say, "Is this right?" I mean, is this top up?
Yeah. My score stream was messing up. I thought maybe it was just jacked. Somebody hacked it. Russians hacked it. I didn't know. 7-4A Cedartown, 35-0 over Sequoia. Central upset by Hampton, 34-33 on the road. Northwest, we said, with a 30-17 win over Ringgold. Heritage, big win, 48-14 over LFO. Those guys are on track, man, to battle it out in October. Calhoun got the win tonight. Cartersville got the win in 5A. Both of them had to come from behind, I think, to get it done. And Cass with a big win. Dalton lost to Sonoraville, 27-21. Hiram lost to county rival East Paulding, 35-28. I guess about it. Rome lost to Carrollton, 23-6. Kennesaw Mountain, 37-36 over North Paulding. In a great game. And in a game, Paulding County lost to Harrison tonight, 28-14, which I think is a respectable score for Paulding County, man. I think Paulding County is going to be there in the playoff hunt. I think they're in 6A. I'm trying to learn all my Paulding County schools this year.
Yeah, I believe they're in 6A as well with East and South Paulding. And that's a kind of a murderer's row there with Douglasville and Langston Hughes, and also New Manchester is a team that flew under the radar a couple years ago, but there's no easy out in class Region 5 6A.
Yeah, Arthur Jake Keller says you need to make a trip down to Carrollton, man, because standing room only tonight, huge LED jumbotron, LED lights, 100-yard indoor practice field, 2-story field house.
That is unreal, and that would just make us green with envy in Cherokee County, because our schools just got the artificial surface like a lot of schools are going to, but I don't think there's anybody in our county that's going to put up SPLOST money to build an indoor practice facility.
Well, all righty. You got plans to be somewhere next week, Lawrence?
I am going to be right across the street at Union County Armurchie. It's
I think it's going to be an interesting one.
It is youth football night, so my son gets to go out pregame and wave to the crowd. He said he's going to do Prince's wave. So I'm proud of that little fella, man. He's starting at left guard and defensive tackle.
Awesome.
So, and I guess you'll be Coahulla Creek, huh? Coahulla Creek in Chattooga.
Yeah, I'll be at home. I get to see Mr. Kinnaman come, and we face running games. I know they're going to run the ball too, but I'm interested to see us versus a passing game. I may not be saying that come about halftime or tomorrow night when It's like, well, we need to pay somebody that don't do either of those two.
Just somebody that turns the ball over or sits starters.
Well, that's one
That's what
good
you need, a
thing.
sit starter.
I don't think we actually turned the ball over. Yes, we did. One time we had a fumble, but that's better than 5. So that's a huge step in the right direction. But anyway.
Well, Arthur, I know everybody said it, man, but it's been a huge honor to meet you, or to see you in person.
I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely, man.
My pleasure. And before we were doing radio games, it was much easier for me to sneak away into Northwest Georgia. But it may be as one of your teams get deep into the playoffs in Northwest Georgia, that when we get eliminated here in Cherokee County, I'll be able to get over and hopefully we'll be able to meet face to face at some point soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if I ever get a chance to get over to Cherokee County, man, you got to take me to Cedarwood Tavern and get me some wings.
We'll have to figure out a way to make that happen.
Hey, somebody's asking, how do they sign up for your newsletter?
So you can follow us on Twitter at Turd Ferguson RPT, I think is our handle. I should know that right off the top. The website is turdferguson.com, TURDFERGUSON.com. And there's a subscription button. I tell people all the time, like, I have a degree in economics and so not in web design. So I ask for people's grace and patience with the websites and the posts, but we try to put out a quality information. And again, we try to write that from the perspective of a fan, what a fan might want to know, and love the feedback. And look, I don't mind facing the heat when I'm wrong. Most people are gracious and don't say anything, which makes me lead me to believe they say, yeah, he's an idiot, just like his picks are. But it's a good time. And again, I think as Benton and Lawrence, as you guys know, we do this specifically to make sure a lot of kids get highlighted, and it's not necessarily the 4, 5, and 3-star kids, but the kids that are just out there, just football players. And after this is over, they'll go on with their life. And I think it's just an opportunity for us to spotlight it and be part of the community.
Absolutely. Like I said, you're welcome to come back any Friday night you want to, man. We're always here.
Well, I appreciate it, and I will probably take you all up on that. I know we've got another game. The game we had was right in my backyard in Creekview, so it's much easier to get home and get on with you guys. So I do appreciate the invite, and again, I thank you guys for all that you do. It's fun following you guys, and I know, like you said, I'm the leader in the clubhouse after 2 weeks, but
I'm about to start calculating it up right here.
It's a long the fall from the top is a long way. I know that. I've known that from experience. So it's a long season, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
All right, Arthur. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much.
And Ben, we'll see you next Friday night, man.
Yes, sir.
All right.